The Nashville Predators, everybody. Ruiners of Blackhawk dreams since 2017. Blackhawks lose 3-0 to the Nashville Predators. They were actually shut out in this game. I don't know. I can't recall how many times they've been shut out, if they've ever been shut out this year. I'm going to fact check that right now because I'm actually curious. Because the Predators decided it'd be a good idea to shut out us right now, right after we have a pretty good series with the Hurricanes. I fact check it. That's the first time we've been shut out this season. First time we couldn't put a puck in the back of the net, which is honestly genuinely a shocker because there have been so many times we've been outplayed so badly, but we were able to find the back of the net at least once. In this game, we couldn't at all. And that's just sad and disappointing because it's a very important game in the standings. And it's against one of your biggest rivals. I'm going to say it. Detroit is definitely not, our biggest rival this year because they're really bad and we've kind of dominated them. So I haven't looked at Detroit as like getting mad at Detroit like, ooh, I hate you, Detroit, this year. I've just been laughing at Detroit all year. Nashville, I've genuinely been pissed at for about 4 or 5 years now because for some reason, the Blackhawks have the inability to ever beat the Nashville Predators. I'm not going to talk about each goal that they scored because I don't feel like it. They had a power play goal, and for some reason, in the second period, while the Hawks were on the power play, they gave Colton Sissons a penalty shot, a shorthanded penalty shot, which of course he scored because it's the Nashville Predators. And then they scored in the third period, and it's 3-0. I don't know what to say anymore because that was just an awful display from the Blackhawks. I don't know what else to say. Like, that's it. We don't have to talk here anymore. I just want to, it's like we don't have to talk here anymore. Blackhawks lost. They got shut out. And now Nashville is right with us right now. It's unbelievable. Man, did it really have to be like this? And plus, did it have to be Nashville to get hot right as we have to play them a ton here at the end of the year? Why couldn't we have just played our bulk of our games against them when they sucked? And even when they sucked, we lost both games. But at least in those games, we got a point in the standings. At least we forced overtime in both of those games. We can't even force overtime in the last 3 games we played them. We had been outplayed in every facet for 3 games straight against this team. And we can't get any momentum against the Nashville Predators. I'm going to start talking about the Predators real quick because what they've done this year has been a true turnaround. And I can't have enough respect for the fact that they were able to turn things around that fast. But it pisses me off because it's the Nashville Predators. But anyways, they were in the reverse retros tonight. A very good game for them to pick to be in their reverse retros. And I like talking about the reverse retros. It's been definitely one of the most interesting things that I've seen from this year just around the league. I've definitely really liked seeing what, these teams have come up with and, how they look on the ice. And the Predators reverse retros, I actually really like them as well. Again, one common theme I've seen with the reverse retros is that the shoulder pads are a totally different color than the main part of the jersey, where some of the, normal ones, the shoulder pads are all one color, and the more main jersey are all one color. For this case, the Predators have yellow, and they have their old logo from, like, the late 90s up until, like, 2011? Something like that, like the early 2010s, about 10 years ago. And I think that that logo, the logo they have now is probably better. It's less complicated. It's definitely simpler. This is one of those cases I don't really, praise oversimplifying logos. That whole revelation has pissed me off in a lot of companies. But the Predators simplifying their logo to make it, more accessible, and it's more defined, their new logo. Their old logo was just very complicated, and they're just like, oh, what even is this? But they bring it back for the reverse retro. So they have it. They have the gray on the top, which They don't use gray these days, but I think the gray complements the yellow on this. And again, it has like a little blue separator stripe. And again, the separator stripe makes it flow very well. The gray on the shoulders actually look really well and complement the yellow well. So I think they look pretty good. Another thing to note, baseball season is now started. So I guess that's a thing. I don't know if I'll be doing the Cubs this season. I don't really think about it. Maybe. Who knows? Might be a video or two. Regardless, on April 1st, opening day, all of the other three sports leagues besides the NFL cut off their old Fox Sports score bugs. And you guys don't know this about me, but actually I mentioned it in the very first reaction I ever did, which was the Bears versus the Lions all the way back in like what, September? Gosh, that's a long time ago. But Fox debuted a new score bug in the Super Bowl the previous year. They debuted it for the regular season, and I love it. It's much better than the one they had before. I did not like that one. It got old very fast. But the all the other sports leagues had continued to use it even after the season started. So I was thinking maybe that because the Fox changed it for the NFL, they'll change it for the other leagues as well because they had usually done that. But since now score bugs are becoming a little bit more complicated, especially for like the NFL standards, NBC has not transferred the other sports that they broadcast to the new score bug they have for the NFL. It's pretty much just exclusively to the NFL, which is something I want to see them change because they've got some really cool graphics for the NHL. The NHL on NBC graphics are some of my favorites I've seen, just period. Too bad the score bug is sucked back in 2015, 2016 when NBC did it back then. But regardless, my point here is that Fox Sports, all of their sports networks, so Detroit, Nashville, Dallas, Carolina, Florida, Tampa Bay, and so on and so forth, a handful of other teams in this league, and a lot of the teams in the NBA and the MLB, they all changed their score bugs, and their score bugs got updated. Not to what we saw in the NFL, but to a completely new score bug. Now, the stations themselves are now renamed as Bally Sports, insert city name here. And I gotta say, this new score bug is pretty cool. I actually really like it. I saw, all the opening day home runs because I was curious of how it worked for each different team. Wanted to see little, home run animations. I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. It's a really weird little quirk that I have, but I find scorebooks to be, and graphic packages to be actually very interesting and intriguing. I've padded enough time here because as March shifted into April, a couple new things have changed. Most notably that all of the Fox Sports broadcasting stations for the MLB, NBA, and NHL have all changed to now Bally Sports, insert city name. And I find that to be pretty interesting. If you want to, I'm still not 100% sure of what just happened, but I think Bally Sports just kind of did something and made a deal with Fox to kind of just rebrand the stations. It's a weird thing that just happened. It's a pretty interesting development if you want to look it up and kind of get to know, about the situation more, as this is something that probably kind of get overlooked. People would be like, oh, look, a new scoreboard. All right, let's watch the game. Whereas I kind of, find that to be one of the more interesting parts about sports. But anyways, I rambled about this because I don't want to talk about the awful game that I just witnessed. And so I can calm myself and have, a nice little discussion, update you guys on something new that I've actually kind of found to be pretty interesting. And that is just what I wanted to do. And that's all I'm going to talk about now. And that's the end of it. That's the end of that. So that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed me ramble about reverse retro uniforms yet again and the new Bally Sports score bug, which I actually really like. So hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all next time.